Good afternoon, this is David Wendell with BushcraftOnFire, and I've been getting some requests about how to make a hobo stove. So what I want to show you today is how to do just that. Now, the first thing you're going to need a few tools. This is a number 10 tin can. A lot of times you can go to the store, you can get large vegetable cans. That's what this is. It's a number 10 tin, and you can see right now I've just taken the paper off it. This one actually held pineapple chunks, and so I've taken the paper off it. The second thing you're going to need is your knife, and we'll find out how to get that to carve the thing in a few minutes. You're going to need 2 tent stakes, and we'll get to those tent stakes as well. I'm going to use what's called a church key can opener, and that just makes it a little easier to get the holes in the bottom of the can. And I'm going to use a coat hanger, and I've got a pair of wire snips here just to snip that off. In fact, right now we'll go ahead and begin by snipping that off. What I do is just cut the coat hanger so that the top part is off. We can discard that little piece, and then we're going to straighten it out as much as we can. And we're going to lay that aside for a few minutes. This is going to eventually be our bale. So what we're going to do is put that aside until we need it. Now, to prepare the can, what we're going to do is make a series of holes. And what I want you to imagine is a cross in the can, an X. I use the seam as a measure so that I can get that cross where I want it. What I'm going to do is begin by putting a series of holes around half of the can on the bottom of the can where the tin still is, and I'm just going to put one right in the middle of my X, and then I'm going to put 2 off the side, then I'll put 2 on the other side. What these are is air holes for the air to come in. Now, we're going to use this, it's going to be very similar to a convection chimney. The air is going to come in, the heat is going to rise up, pulling more air in, and we'll be able to turn this. So now we've got 5 holes in the bottom of the can. On the opposite side from the center hole, we're going to cut out a V. Now, this V is going to be about 2.5 to 3 inches wide, and it's going to go about 1/3 to 1/2 down the can. In order to make this a little easier, I'm going to actually put the can on this log. Now, this can is going to be a triangle with the point down here at the bottom, and this is right in the center on the opposite side. I'm going to put that hole there, and I'm just going to start taking out the metal, and this will take a minute or two, so when I get done with this, I'll be right back with you. Alright, now I've made the cut the whole way around, and I'm just going to pull out this little triangle so that you can see what we've got left. It'll take a minute to get this off this big old stump. Alright, so now we've got 5 holes in the bottom of the can, and on the back side we have a triangle. Again, it's about 2 inches wide by about 2.5, 3 inches long. You can see that I've left a little bit of the can on top, and that'll give it some more stability. Now, basically our hobo stove is done, but we want to build a deluxe hobo stove. One of the things that you can do to make this a little more stable is to put a bale on the top. That way you can carry it with you, and we're actually going to show you how to do that in a few minutes when we light this up. You also want to put a couple of grills across the top of this. Now, you can just set these on top and that will be fine, but we're going to do it a little more fancy. So we're going to make a few more holes. The first thing we're going to do is to right on this seam, which is 90 degrees from the center hole and from this back hole, we're going to put a hole right on top. See if I can do this so you can see it. We're going to put a hole right here, and we'll open that hole up a little bit, and we're going to flip it over 180 degrees, and we're going to put another hole right on the other side. These holes are to hold our bale. Now, make those a little bit bigger. Again, it makes it easy if you're doing this on a piece of wood. That way you don't have the can warping on you or causing any problems. And open that up. Now we can take our bale, which we had earlier, our coat hanger, and we can put that into this hole and then just close it up. Do the same thing on the other side. Put it in there, get it straight here, and close that up. Now we basically have the hobo can set up, and this bale is going to make this a lot easier to use. One of the reasons is because I can now carry this with me in the woods, and what that's going to do is allow me to transport fire. If I have a coal, that I can put some coals in here with some dead wood on top of it, some punk wood, and that will allow me to carry fire from one place to another. I literally have built fires in this and carried with me around the lake while I was fishing about 10 years ago, and it would keep me warm. It was a very cold day, about 20 miles an hour wind and 30 degrees, 35 degrees. I was able to stay warm because I had my own heat source with me instead of having to build a fire everywhere that I went. So it's very useful to have this bale on top. All you need to do is once in a while stop and clean out these portholes, because ashes will settle down. You'll clean out these portholes to keep them open. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do now is we're going to put our 2 grills into the can. And that makes it so that we can set a pot on here for easier cooking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 more holes. They're going to be about 1.5 inches on each side. Y'all bear with me while I make these holes. An 1.5 inches to 2 inches on each side of the bale wire.